Hello, everybody. I've got shorts on today. You know, I don't want to flash people like I may have done in the past up here in my tiny little loft here in Tokyo. It is daytime. It is hot, so no sleeves today. Jägermeister tank top. I gotta begin today. Hello and thank you for tuning in. By the way, just jumping right in. I gotta begin with a story from last night. I was at some friend's house. This is a big house. They live in the ninth floor of a big apartment building. So everybody who lives on the ninth floor, they all kind of have a communal area, but everybody's got their own room. Very cool people. Very mixed house. About half Japanese, half foreigner. And just a nice group of people to hang out with, right? So I'm there, and we're watching a Robin Williams movie. I can't remember what we started watching Mrs. Doubtfire, and then that ended, and we started watching what was it? Where Matt Damon is half retarded or something. Good Will Hunting. I'm the worst. Good Will Hunting, and he's not half retarded. I'm sorry, and I shouldn't use that word. He has some problems, and he's a genius at math, and whatever. I didn't get to watch it very closely because of what happened. I'm sitting on the couch watching a movie with a couple other people, and we see from across the ninth floor of the next apartment building over, there's a woman waving her hands, right? So a Japanese woman, probably about 30 years old. So we rush over to the window and we start yelling over, like, what do you need, what do you need? And she's putting up her finger like this, be quiet, shh, shh, like, and then she starts motioning, 100, like, call the police, right? So we immediately have one of the Japanese people call the police, and we're trying to extract any kind of information that we can. So we ask her to write a message, right? So she grabs a Kleenex box, and she writes something on it, and then she throws it across, and I reached out and I actually got it, which I was pretty impressed with myself because I'd been drinking. I probably could have easily fallen over the side of that and fallen 9 stories to my death. But I didn't. So good on me. And she says, there's a danger. The message says, written in hiragana, there's a dangerous guy here, and I need help. So I went downstairs to the bottom of the apartment complex so I could meet the police when they got there. They came pretty fast. I was impressed. This was not NYPD. They got there pretty quickly. At first it was just 2 officers. And so I start talking to them, but it's the kind of building where you need to be rung up. And so they keep trying to ring the apartment building or the apartment room number that she's in, but nobody's answering. Probably she's too scared to answer. At this point we think maybe there's somebody in there with her, and so they're not going to pick up. And so I said, well, obviously she's scared, and there's a reason why she's not picking up. Why don't you try the next apartment over? And so the officers do that, and so they get somebody and they get let in, and right when they get let in, a 3rd police officer comes in, and so now there's 3 officers in the elevator, and they're holding the elevator for me. I'm like, seriously, you want me to come? You want me to come up there with you? But I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do that. You can bring a drunk foreigner up here with you. So I was wearing a tank top too. I looked terribly unprofessional, but maybe I looked physically intimidating compared to these officers. I don't know. It was funny, but when we get up there, there is a Japanese guy about the same age, about 30, banging on the door, and he's outside. So he was not actually inside the apartment. He was outside, and then he sees us, and he immediately starts apologizing, but not to the police officers. He realizes that I was the person that, you know, got the message. I was the person who was told. I was the reason why the cops got called, and now everybody was here, and he felt sheepish. And so he's apologizing to me and trying to tell me that everything's okay, and he's really sorry for bothering me. It was very strange. I have no idea what was going on, but it was just really weird. But after I realized that he wasn't a big threat and the police were there, I just left. The police did come back to the apartment where we were hanging out, just to ask some questions and get some clarification. But all in all, strange but cool night. I guess I should revisit the fact that we were having Robin Williams movie party. Rest in peace, man. I'm very sorry to hear about his loss. I think it is a great loss. But I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. Suicide is a complicated, sensitive issue. A lot of people are affected by it and have been affected by it in some way, and I don't want to step on any toes by making any assumptions. So it just sucks. That's all I got to say. Next point on the agenda. After I did the Just Japan podcast, I got a couple of new subscribers that had said, we wish you would have talked more about language learning, which I get. I mean, that's what matters to a lot of people that are interested in Japanese social media. They watch YouTube, they listen to podcasts because they'll say things like, I want to move to Japan, I want to learn Japanese, this is why I'm here. I get that. So one very cool person, seemingly cool person who I have not met, is Chris Boyle. Wanted some tips, and I told him that I would prepare something. I had been thinking about this. This is a video that I'd wanted to make, and I will make more of in the future. But this is my brief starter advice. Okay, I break this down into three simple steps. Okay, number one, let's start from the top. You want to speak. Speaking requires confidence, and confidence requires familiarity. Okay? Speaking, confidence, familiarity. Now, let's start from the bottom. Familiarity just means, remember, if you've been learning Japanese at all, remember the first time that you were talking to someone in Japanese and you recognized something? You recognized a word. We're talking really basic level. Maybe somebody's speaking to you and you caught a word. You caught the gist of what they're trying to say. How exciting is that? I know it's not much. I get that. We all, no matter what level we're at, have a long way to go in learning Japanese. To speak like a native, it's a very difficult, complex language. So if you only catch one thing, don't feel bad about that. That is not a failure, that is a victory. Every time you catch something, remember, maybe you remember the first time you recognized a kanji character. That is a victory. Own it, celebrate it, and let it give you confidence. You will not start catching things unless you're familiar with the language. So, how do you do that? When I first started learning Japanese, I would make 3x5 cards. Now, they're not 3x5 cards in Japan because we don't use inches here, but you know what I mean. It's an index card. I would divide it into 3 sections. In the top section, I would draw a kanji character, the kanji of the day, right? And then the second section, I would write 3 new vocabulary words. No, I did 5 new vocabulary words. So kanji character, 5 vocabulary words, and at the bottom, 1 grammar point. Okay, so 1 kanji character, 5 words, 1 grammar point. I would put it in my pocket probably my chest pocket. And whenever I had a second, I would whip it out. I would look at it. I would own these for the day. I would try to use them. I would sneak them into conversation any way that I could. And that was mine for the day. I was becoming familiar with something every day. Okay, so that way, if I hear it, if I see it, in any way, I'm familiar with it. I catch it. It registers in my mind, which gives me that small victory, and that victory gives me confidence. Confidence is what gives you the ability to speak naturally. You will not speak naturally if you are worried that you're going to screw up, or if you're not confident that you can speak Japanese. If you are all up in your head, you're not going to speak naturally. So speaking comes from confidence, and confidence comes from familiarity. I could say it 100 times, but it really is that simple. Get familiar with stuff. Learn words. You won't be able to speak quickly just because you're familiar with a lot of stuff. You can learn 100,000 words. It's not familiarity gives you speaking. Okay, familiarity gives you confidence. Being familiar with stuff allows it to register in your mind, and that gives you confidence to say, you know what, I think I can do this. I think I can communicate with somebody. And in the beginning, it will be at your basic level. I remember the first conversation I had with somebody where it was back and forth. It was basic, but I was having a real conversation. They were just speaking to me about whatever was going on. I was getting it. I was returning commentary. That was a big victory for me. It was basic. But at every level of Japanese language learning, you're going to have these victories. Own them. Let them give you confidence, because that confidence is going to allow you to say, you know what, next time, I can do this, and I can do even more. I bet I could do even better than I did last time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how bad you are right now or how low of a level you're at right now. Whatever little victory you have, own it. Let it give you confidence, because you can do more and more every time. You will level up, and you may not notice every little victory, but over time you'll see, wow, my level of conversation is getting so much better. Now, let me put my disclaimer on this. I'm not a great reader or writer of Japanese. My Japanese language experience is all really in the realm of speaking. When I first came to Japan, I was a Mormon missionary. It was speaking all the time. You go out, you speak. My next Japanese language career was as a tour guide, where I learned to speak very fluently. It was all day speaking in Japanese. And even in that, you're learning about new things that you can speak about. So you're learning new words, new vocabulary, because you're the things that I talked about in Japanese as a tour guide were very different from the things that I talked about as a missionary. So you're learning, you're still having little victories, even if your rate of speech and your fluency haven't gone up. Wow, my confidence still went up, because I was learning to speak fluently in an entirely different category of vocabulary and vernacular. So recognize them. Recognize those little victories and let them give you confidence. It really is that easy, because when you have confidence, you know you can speak, and you believe you can even do better next time than you did this time. So that it's that easy. Familiarize yourself with Japanese. Surround yourself with it. Watch TV. Watch drama. I love Japanese drama. That's my little otaku thing. I'm not an anime guy. I don't know anime or watch it, but yeah, I dig Japanese drama. I think it's pretty fun. So surround yourself. Make your index cards. Own those words for the day. Learn them. Familiarize and listen for them. And that's what I got. I am signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in. And any questions, any comments, please leave them. Hit me up on Google Plus. I like adding pictures. I like giving a little information about what I'm doing, where I'm going. If you're in the Tokyo area, maybe we can meet up and enjoy beer. So get me on Google Plus. I am AeroJero. If you've got anything else that you want to say, send me a longer message, no problem. Do it just like Chris Boyle did. AeroJero6@gmail.com. That's EROJERO6@gmail.com. All right, thanks. Have a great day, everybody. It is Obon holiday here in Japan, which means that it's time to pay our respects to our dead Japanese relatives. I don't have any, which means it's time to hang out and drink, barbecue, and go clubbing in Roppongi. So if anybody else is going to be out, let me know. Hit me up. I will be hanging out with really cool people for the rest of the week. I've got 3 days off. Peace.